Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time and depending when you're going to be seeing this video. It's your brother, your boy, courserepscorner. Like I always tell you guys, it's my corner, it's your corner, and it's our corner. You know, it is said that when something does not favor you, it becomes bad, wrong, evil, and so on and so forth. The incumbent governor of Abia State, Okezie Ikpeazu, have finally come up to the media house to say that what professornnenaoti of the Federal University of Technology, Futo, did was biased, was lie, and was favored for her to choose a political party against the incumbent party, People's Democratic Party, PDP. I don't really know if Governor Okezie Ikpeazu is really right, but with the kind of amount of joy we saw in the faces of Abians, we feel that yes, he has come to lie on the poor woman's head. When I saw this interview this morning, I felt not good. I said, no, it's good we tell ourselves the truth. He went to Channels Television and he made that kind of a remark, those kinds of remark on a particular woman who was labeled the heroine of the election 2023. So I want you to hear what he said. I'm not here to say it in his mouth. I just came to share it with us so that you see what he said. You will hear what he said and you give your judgment. Okay, I haven't said I want to thank all of us for always being here. I really do appreciate us. I want to appreciate us for the love and the care. God bless you for all you do. For those of us who have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share so that we can move the ministry to the permanent site. Okay, till I come here next time to see me on your screen, guys. I leave all of us with this video.
Abia State in southeast Nigeria is one of the states where there was an upset in the 2023 elections. The ruling party, the PDP, lost in the presidential election and in the governorship election. The governor, Okezie Ikpeazu, will be serving out the 8 years, 2 terms in office. In May 29 this year, he has been heavily criticized on his approach to governance in that state. Tonight, Governor Okezie Ikpeazu joins me live in our studio. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us.
You're welcome, Shell.
How's it been?
Well, very well. I'm good.
How do you feel? In the next 1 month, about 2 months now, you'll be getting out of office.
Great relief. Great relief.
Relief that you're leaving office, or relief of what?
Relief that I'm leaving office. I have to get on to other things. And I've been on this job for 8 years. I can't remember sleeping anytime earlier than 2 a.m. for 8 years, no vacation.
Is it that you don't want to take it, or you're not entitled to one?
I am somebody who likes to apply everything in me to the job I do. And I don't regret it anyway, but I think the time has come for me to look through the window now.
What is humbling you? Because, I mean, for a governor to say this, there's an humbling situation. There's something that has happened to you recently that has humbled you politically, and those people can easily say, oh, maybe because you lost the president, your party lost in the presidential election, your party also lost in the governorship election, and a very sad one, the loss of your candidate earlier before you picked another one. Are these the things that humbled you?
Oh no. This has always been my mindset. Whenever I get into any office, the first file I open is a handover file, because it will certainly come. I've done 8 years. There are governors who couldn't do 8 years. I've done 8 years. I'm still strong and healthy. And I operate from what I call my biological clock. It's time to do other things. And I must also remind you that while I was governor, I was able to conclude my book in biochemistry, which was launched just a few months ago. So that tells you that I have capacity to do other things. And I want to address other things in my life, because I have timetable for the things I need to do within a given period.
But it doesn't look like things went your way. You wanted to be a senator, or you lost the election.
Oh yes, that was me offering to serve. And that is what it's all about. And that is why I quickly called the person who was declared and congratulated him and told him that I wasn't going to go to court. Reason is that I offered to serve. I thought I had something I wanted to bring. I thought there were gaps I needed to fill. I thought my experience as governor would have enabled me plug my people into what was happening at the federal level. But the outcome did not suggest that. So I quickly moved.
So your people rejected you? Because this is a more local election.
Yes, but that is what the outcome looks like. But I'm only one governor who walks the street of Abia every day. I literally trek, walk around Abia, and that is a privilege for any governor. If you are not accepted there, you'll be pelted.
You are from the Isialangwa local government, isn't it?
No, Obingwa.
Obingwa, yes. And that's like a hotbed politically, which your opponents have said. You are always not allowing opposition to thrive or to even operate. Alex Oti, we easily say that the last election he won, but you did not allow the result to go his way. This time around also, Obingwa, Isialangwa, these are areas that elections were really very tough. But this time around, and I asked you that question, whether or not people rejected you. You've spent 8 years in office to have lost out a senatorial, and you are not the only incumbent governor that has lost a senatorial election. It means a lot. Have you learned the lesson of governance or being in political office? That if you're served for almost 8 years and your people still say they don't want you, what does this tell you?
You see, what leads to the outcome of an election is a combination of many factors. A combination of many factors. And I am a very engaging person. I engage my people. If I wanted to run election, I'll be happy to run again and again and again there. But because the circumstances won't be the same. And those who won today have also lost elections at one point or the other in their history. And I want some of you to come to a place where we can see political contestation as one offering himself to serve. For whatever reason it is. If you don't come with that mindset, you make it a do or die affair. Some of the issues are contestable. There are still over 108,000 votes, over 120 units. That is still there, and the results were declared inconclusive, and later they said cannot be concluded. Without those results, and the margin of lead between the first, second, and the third was not up to 40,000 votes. So if somebody wanted to contest some of these things, there are reasons. I think a lot of things happen. But whatever thing it is, I'm at peace with myself, and I said to my people, it is not entirely my loss. It is the loss of an opportunity to serve. So I don't want to take it that it's anything personal.
But how are you taking that you lost and people are rejoicing?
Well, here again, as some people are rejoicing, some are crying also. Because some of those who are rejoicing may be rejoicing because they've been out of power and they've been pushing to look through the door to see how they will get there for 8 years, and it's not been possible, and some of them felt lost out in the scheme of things, and maybe that was time for them to, so we know how these things work in politics. If you want me to raise people who are weeping, you will also see them weeping.
The PDP candidate, has he agreed with you not to go to court?
That was my advice as now a statesman to those who ran election in my state in 2023. I said, well, somebody took me to court for 3.5 years, and I felt thoroughly distracted. Because my first tenure of 4 years, you spent 3.5, removed twice. High Court removed me, Appeal Court removed, and all of that. And I said, can we come to a closure? Can you people find a way to allow this guy who's been declared to find time to talk about what he wants to do for Abia? Because he applied for the job for 8 years, and now the opportunity has come. Can we let him, give him some space? So that was my advice. And incidentally, the APC candidate thought otherwise, and I think he has gone to the trial. Unfortunately, too, the Labour Party that was supposed to be the beneficiary of this my piece of advice are also contesting against the candidates of PDP that won 11 seats in the House of Assembly. So that has thrown spanner in the works.
So could it change the scenario?
Is
there a possibility that your candidate, for example, might be thinking otherwise?
Anybody who wants to seek my advice will also get an advice that is consistent with my first comments in this regard, and that is to see if we can get a closure. But I don't know how to talk to somebody whose House of Assembly member is being challenged by the same party you are asking them not to go to court. Does it sound right?
Let me get your reaction to Professor Oti's statement. She said she was heavily induced to manipulate the result of the election. And easily, your opponent were pointing out, accusing fingers. They're already making inference of those who could possibly be inducing the woman.
This is very unfortunate. I have not met that professor before, and I am shocked. Because in the first place, I think if she's a professor really, she should know that she doesn't even have the capacity to manipulate results. Because these are results that must have emanated from the units, collected at the ward, collected at the local government, and brought for her to just add them up and announce. I have not met her before, I have not spoken to her. If I've met her, if I've spoken to her, let her come to the public and declare so. So I'm shocked that she's making a big noise out of nothing. The only thing was that at some point when I saw the coincidence in name and traced a little bit of her background, I complained to INEC that this lady was not going to be fair. But they told me that, they assured me that they profiled her, but I'm still shocked. And what she has betrayed in the aftermath of her service, Osti worship in Abia, indicates the fact that she is visibly happy with what she did, which means her level of bias in that regard could be placed in favor of one party or another.
You don't think that she did right?
Well, she has betrayed that she had something at the back of her mind, a mindset of her own before she came. But for me, that'll be it.
What would you ascribe to the loss of your party in Abia State?
Well, many factors. My party did not put their acts together. I, as a person, did not campaign against. I did not campaign against him because I was of the opinion that the presidency should go to the south. But as a party man, immediately we arrived at a candidate. The next thing was, well, what do we tell the south? Can we get the national chairman back so that we can have something on the table which we can campaign? And that wasn't to come also. So it became a difficult thing to stand on the podium and begin to campaign against somebody like Peter. So our party was weakened, run up to, and I lost a candidate. I had to replace my candidate. I needed to also talk to a lot of people. And then at some point also, my calculation politically did not fall through.
And what was that?
Oh, well, there are two major divides in Abia, the old Aba division and the old Bende division. So old Bende had 3 or 4 gubernatorial candidates, different parties. So we were thinking that votes would be shared. But down in the south, where we come from, especially from Isialangwa down to Ukwa, after 25th of February, there was need for the political leaders to come together to review how much they wanted to produce a governor after me. But I think that the political leaders felt that they did not need that governor as badly as some ordinary people needed a governor of old Aba division extraction. So when all the political leaders collapsed and decided to move in a certain direction, they coupled with the P2B bandwagon effect, it was easy for us to run into that headwind.
But did you expect that the P2B effect was going to be that huge? To the extent that in 2 consecutive elections in the state, your party lost to the Labour Party.
Yes, that P2B effect, I predicted it, and I told my party, I even volunteered this same opinion that reasonable politicians should not ignore what P2B was doing.
Good. I mean, do you think that the P2B effect has a brighter future after now?
It's not for me to determine, because pretty much that will happen going forward will depend on how P2B manages the groundswell of support he has garnered. How is he going to funnel this towards an agenda that can eventually materialize in history? That is his remit, that is his business.
Do you regret being part of the G5 Governors Pact?
Or never. But I think that's one of the most brilliant positions I've taken as a politician.
And the risk that came out of it?
Oh, certainly. Any day.
I mean, for those who say that Ikpeazu has not lost election in this manner before, you lost 2 consecutive elections. You lost.
If that is the sacrifice for my principled position, that is okay.
Was that in the interest of the people of your state?
No, but that was in the interest of the unity of Nigeria.
For those who say it was disloyalty and a public rebellion against your political party, which gave you a platform, what do you say to that?
First, loyalty to one Nigeria, loyalty to united Nigeria. If tomorrow, after a southern president, I'll be one of those who will say it is turn on the north, and I will do the same thing.
So do you agree with the election of Bola Tinubu?
To the extent that he is from southern Nigeria, I think that part of what we need to unite Nigeria has been presented to us. Going forward, how he manages it is also another conversation.
Was Bola Tinubu part of the arrangement within the G5?
Oh, never. No.
His matter never came up?
No. Part of what I was doing as a person in G5 was to open the window for conversation, because my late father told me, for whatever reason, you must remain on the negotiation table. You never leave the table. So I kept telling my people, can we find a way to find a solution? There was a time, since we cannot change the candidates, can we do an internal arrangement to get the national chairman to the south, so that people can begin to campaign in the south with something? But for me, as a person, my tolerance threshold can take a little bit of arrogance. But for some people, they can't take arrogance. So it continued.
So where was this arrogance coming from?
Oh, that we can go the whole hog without you. We can do this without this. We can do, and it's not.
Is it from the candidate, the presidential candidate of your party?
Well,
or where is the arrogance? Because Nigerians, I mean, you politicians, you know pretty much what is going on.
No,
but in plain terms, where is the arrogance coming from?
The mechanics that was driving our party at that time betrayed this arrogance. It's not about one person or the other, but the mechanics, the organism, betrayed this arrogance that we can do this, that we can do this.
And the G5 wanted to show them that
not necessarily
that narrative won't work.
Not necessarily wanting to show anybody, but the G5 was saying part of what we need in this country. If you ask me as a person, and if I have the privilege of volunteering advice to whosoever is the president of this country, my advice would be, invest your time in unifying Nigeria. Invest your time in bringing everybody on board, North, South, Ishekiri, Igbo, Hausa, Fufude, youth, women, everybody on the table. It is our country. And once you do that, we can find capacity to deal with insecurity. We can find people with capability to deal with the economy. We can find people to solve all our problems going forward. But the first thing to do is to break down these walls of disunity and mistrust. Can we hold the hand of one another again, once again, to say, this is our country?
What do you make of a Tinubu as a president?
I don't understand your question.
I mean, the G5 stood for a southern governor. I mean, southern president. But Bola Tinubu as a president-elect, in his capacity and the kind of person that he is, what do you make of him leading this country in terms of capacity, in terms of abilities?
If I want to answer your question directly, I must take a cue from perhaps what he has done before and relationship with people. I think he has a fair chance, but what he makes out of it is also entirely his remit. But he is coming from a place that is a bit weaker than where the incumbent president started off in 2015. Because the incumbent president had goodwill, enormous goodwill. People gave him a lot of goodwill up front that he was going to get things right. And the hope was there, lined up behind him. He was going to get things right. So, President Bola Tinubu is not coming with that much of goodwill capital, but he can still surprise a lot of pessimists. I think that going forward, we should give him a chance. I listened to their last guest, and I love one of the things he said, which is that this country is so huge and important to all of us that we cannot abandon this country just because Ikpeazu lost senatorial election or my party lost gubernatorial election. We must find a way to dredge up hope from this despondency to march forward. It's about service.
All right. So I'd like to come to Abia governance now, but this G5 alliance and your participation in that alliance, is there any regret for you? Would you do this again if there was a need for it?
Yes. Like I said before, after a southern presidency, I'll be one of those who will say it is turn of the north.
Or was there anything that you thought that could have been done differently?
Meaning my party? Or
within the G5, the manner of approach, what you guys did?
I think that we gave sufficient latitude and window for that matter to be resolved. Meetings were held in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. Engagements were led, conversations were held, and the bottom line was, can you give members of the South something to campaign with? To enable me stand on the podium and campaign for my party alongside as Tinubu was, as P2B was.
But all of these did not work. Who would you blame for that?
Like I said before, the mechanics, the whatever drives the party betrayed a lot of arrogance. And when a man is full of confidence, and that is when he is also open for.
All right. Let's talk about Abia State now, because a lot of citizens and residents of Abia State will be looking forward to hearing from you on your manner of approaching this 8-year was opportunity that they gave you. Would you say you have done well as a governor?
Yes, even in the midst of things which I think I have not done, but the much I have done gives me confidence to say this.
Why are your opponents describing your time as a governor of Abia State as a failure?
Because they have an agenda, and that agenda is to demarcate me and do everything to make sure that nothing nice is seen. And it's a strategy which people use, engage marketers and even people on the streets. Some of them are paid 10,000 just to call on radio and say things that are not true. I say this because the things we have done is so visible. If anybody was in Abia in 2015 and takes a trip to Abia today, you will see a few things for yourself. One of them is that...
I challenge your aides to give us some of the evidence of what you have done.
Okay.
And we have facts too on some of what you have also done and perhaps what you have not done, which will also... And part of whatever you have done, which had challenged some of your aides to let us see evidence of what you've done. I probably would like you to speak to some of these issues. Okay. I mean, as a two-term governor, and governance being a major issue on the lips of a lot of people in your state who think that the potentials of that state is enormous, and they think from the potentials on the performance, they are too far apart, and that's why they think that it's a lot of disappointment rather than what that could be visible.
Well, here again, I said that assessment is skewed and is coming from the lips of those who are looking for opportunity to. And luckily, one of those who's been battling for the past 8 years now has an opportunity. And our hope is that this manifesto and strategy for leading Abia will come to the fore. But that is not why I am here today. I want to say, Shehu, with all respect, I set out to lead Abia and create a better life through 5 pillars. And I enunciated several enablers to drive these 5 pillars. These 5 pillars are known. They are things we do well. Trade and commerce, small and medium scale enterprises, agriculture, education, oil and gas. Today, Abia is the SME capital of Nigeria. I don't know if you have heard about that.
What are the figures to support that?
From the lips of the vice president himself. Because he has visited Abia on more than 3 occasions to see what we are doing. When we got to Abia in 2015, we looked at the problem of SMEs, power, marketing, automation, and today, as I speak, we have enabled geometric power to provide alternative source of power. There is an area independent power plant, which we did in collaboration with the federal government, in addition to the regular power and other sources of power that people can get. In terms of automation, we sent 30 shoemakers to China to learn how to do shoes with machines. And we have followed up by building a shoe manufacturing company that produces 5,000 pairs of shoes. So today, the shoes that are coming out from Abia do not look like what it used to be 8 years ago.
You were talking about the 5 pillars in which you told the people of Abia State about. But I'm wondering how you explain to some of the resident citizens of Abia State who believe that they have been badly governed. Perhaps, a chance of response also to what the governor-elect said. Let me allow you to listen, and I'd like you to respond to what he said. This was my interview with Governor-elect of Abia State, Alex Otu. Take a listen to it.
It would have been difficult to run for the 3rd time if the reason I had decided to run in the first place had been dealt with by the outgoing administration. But what we see is that the decay is getting even deeper. The rot is getting worse. Salaries have not been paid for several months and years. Pensioners have not been paid for about 56 months. So people are actually tired and people need the change.
Respond to that.
Yeah. He's talking about salary. I have 31,000 workers in Abia workforce, and 29,000 of them are up to date as I speak in salary payment. Pension and salaries of parastatals, which is the 2,000 that is struggling with payment of salary. Parastatals receive subvention. I don't pay their salary because they are revenue generating agencies. But I don't run away from responsibility. The issue of pension has been there perennially since the past 24 years.
When your first time you promised to clear it?
Oh yeah, I did as much as I could. This government and this administration passed through 3 recessions. When I came, within 3 months of my administration, I paid 11 months arrears of salary. Those 11 months, were they accumulated while I was still running as governor? So if you take up position as governor, you have accepted to take both liability and assets. And I don't like to complain. I didn't have to talk about what my predecessors did not do, because what gave me my job in the first place was because there are things they didn't do. So for somebody to come and make a sweeping statement that no salary has been paid is a lie.
How many months of salaries are you owing presently?
I'm not owing any core civil servant any salary.
Oh, you talked about 2,000 or
yes,
thereabout?
They belong to the parastatals. I give you
under the state government.
Yes, I give you an example.
And so you don't think that they
allow me to bed my argument. If you are the general manager of, I give you an example, Abiastate Transport Corporation, and you receive a subvention of a certain amount of money every month, and you collect money as a result of the business you do, why shouldn't you pay your drivers? Why shouldn't you pay your drivers? Because there are no free lunch anywhere. If you run the Abia State Polytechnic, for instance, you collect the school fees from 10,000 students, you collect examination fees, you collect everything, and I'm supposed to give you a subvention of 100 million every month. And then you went and hired a professor from Oxford to come and teach English language, and you did not tell me you were hiring a professor, and you agreed to pay him $1 million. You will find money and pay. My duty is to release that subvention to you. So they don't pay money into any government coffers, but they're supposed to generate and run their parastatals themselves. But that is not even, because I don't like to make excuses. This is what I don't like to do. I'm saying that 31,000 people in my workforce, I have maintained and paid 29,000 of them regularly up to date. So if I am doing some reorganization and insisting that you must be able to stand on your feet, I do not think it is a bad idea.
There is another aspect, which of course those who are not being paid salary will be watching tonight, and they'll feel very sad because they are citizens or residents of Abia State, and they deserve the wages of their labor for the government, and there is no excuse that will suffice for their families in which they feed. And perhaps, is there any possibility of assurance that these people might be paid within the next 2 months that you have left in office?
Oh, I'll keep paying to the best of my ability, but whatever is left unpaid, just like I inherited when I came, will also be paid by the next administration.
Because you know the buck doesn't stop at your table.
Exactly.
You said you'll be responsible for all citizens of Abia State.
That is true.
And these people, over 2,000 of them that have not been paid.
That is true.
That's a failure on the side of government, isn't it?
Yes, but they have to follow my leading. If I say you must account, if you have 42 accounts, you must close them. If I say you don't have to put 60 people at the gate, 2 gates, 60 people manning it, you must do that. Otherwise, if you keep keeping them, you must take part of the responsibility.
Governor, the MBS figure about unemployment rate in Abia State, national unemployment rate is about 33.3%. Abia unemployment rate is 51%. Poverty rate in Abia State is 31%. How is this so after almost 8 years?
Abia is the third least in poverty index. If it is 31%, then others must be far higher than that. The list is the third least in terms of poverty index in Nigeria.
Well, maybe your figures are not correct. 51% unemployment rate is what we have.
No. That can be true. You know why?
Why?
I have over 1 million people doing SMEs in Abia. That is the World Bank statistics. I inherited it from Okezie Ikpeazu when he brought the World Bank managing director to Abia. My people are not necessarily a safe state. That is why Abia is the safest state in the southeast.
Really?
Yes.
Even with the sit at home, the IPOB activities, the kidnapping, and some of the killings that.
So you don't know that Abia is the safest state?
No, I'm asking you.
Yes.
With all of these incidents, you still refer to it as the safest?
Safest state in the southeast, yes. You can ask anybody.
So, Governor, let me take you to a rather puzzling situation. There is a 27.4 billion bank loan that to have come from the World Bank. What has come of that? What have you used it for?
This is new map project. A new map project, people know that is not paid into government coffers. This is also one of the big time propaganda that people vent. World Bank New Map project is in more than 15 states across Nigeria. And the World Bank procurement process, engagement of contractor process, bidding process. In fact, I think the bid is opened in Washington. I have no hand, and government of Abia State has no hand in who does what. Our duty is to defend the projects we want new map to intervene.
So what are the projects that people can see?
Amoda Isungu erosion site, Nsulu erosion site, Ngwa Road is there, Obohia, Orata, Aja Road. All the roads, in fact, as I speak, somebody was on Obohia Road today doing inspection. It is not possible for anybody to dip hand into World Bank money. This is a no-brainer.
So you're spending it judiciously?
I am not spending. The World Bank is spending.
So let me ask you, Governor, do you go out sometimes when it's raining to see what is happening in your state?
Oh, certainly.
Are you aware about this state, erosion and how it affects the people of your state? And I'd like to mention some roads that these have affected.
Fox Road.
Obohia Road, Obohia to Oaku, to Obohia, to Port Harcourt Road, to Obingwa, to Umahia, Aba South Local Government, Asa Road, Jubilee Road. These are roads that people of your state are complaining about.
No. Obingwa is not a road. Obingwa is a local government. They're just modeling up things. The place we have a flooding problem today in my state is around our area. Ndieguru used to be, if you remember when they have Ndieguru flood disaster. Mm-hmm. Okay, the last flood disaster in Nigeria. Did you hear about any IDP camp in Abia State?
What did you do?
I dredged waterside long before that flooding incident. I dredged Ifobra Pond, I dredged Omabai Pond, I dredged Orata Pond. Abia is one of the few states that did not experience that flooding. However, the flood at Ifobra, which is opposite our area, we had to do Fox Road and set up a head pump to pump water because the gradient won't carry water to waterside. But this pump at the head, this head pump at the Ifobra Pond here, needs somebody to pump it as soon as there is an overflow. So if people fail to pump it whenever there is an overflow, you may have flooding in our area. That is the only place I have flooding issue, and we are working on it even as I speak.
But
beyond there,
I was beyond that, these major roads leading these major communities, local government, and some of these roads that are, a lot of people believe, I mentioned a few of these roads, but the question is that even Aba, for example, and those who visit will say, why is that city in such an eyesore? Considering the state of infrastructure.
When did you visit Aba last?
What has happened in Aba, Governor?
Wow.
The state of infrastructure in that.
Let me tell you, as you enter Aba from either Owerri or Umuahia, what will greet you is the most beautiful flyover in my geopolitical zone, the Osisioma flyover, and that is the first flyover ever by any government in Abia State. That has reduced traveling time from that Osisioma that used to be 45 minutes to city center to now less than 10 minutes. Then it will ease you into Abowore Road, newly constructed with 2-arm drainage. As you hit Brass, you will see another road that is Fox Road, which is ongoing, leading to area, done by this government. If you go beyond there, you will get to Ezuku Road, another road done by this government, leading to Ezuku Market by your right. Flanking Ezuku Road is Milverton and Ojikelen. At Okigwe Road roundabout, you will see Okigwe Road, another new road done by this government. And then off as you head towards Ezuku Market, you will see Osusu Road, another road done by this government. You will see Omoma Road, another road done by this government. And some of these roads I'm mentioning are rigid paved roads.
So are these some of the things
these
that
are propaganda?
These are some of the things you use.
Over 200 roads.
The borrowings that you got.
No.
Which is
new map project.
No, I'm not talking about the name the World Bank. I'm talking about the loans that the state government. I mean, I'm talking about the debt burden of the state. Mm-hmm. What would you say these loans? Because you'll be leaving this debt to the next government.
What is the debt profile? What was the debt profile in 2015? What is the debt profile now?
You can tell us.
No, but I'm telling you that we are safe. All the borrowings that I did will terminate before the 29th of May.
And you will have been able to clear all.
Of course, because what I did was to, whatever that is the headroom we have, if it is 200, 300 million every month, I aggregate it and take $1 billion. And you take the 300 for 10 months.
Governor, we are out of time now. And just in about 60 seconds, I'd like to...
No, before you go,
yeah,
don't forget that we have done over 200 roads, 4 bridges. We have done 700 brand new classroom blocks, including 4 model schools. We have migrated into digital learning in Abia. Don't forget that we moved Abia State University from number 97 to 26 and the second best state school in Nigeria. Don't forget that Abia State has telehealth initiative that links over 700 primary healthcare centers to 16 doctors in our call room. I'm bequeathing a brand new government house. Wait a minute.
No, because we are totally out of time, Governor.
Okay.
What would you say is your biggest achievement in office in 8 years?
My biggest achievement is that I'm bequeathing the safest state and the most stable state. It is also that I'm bequeathing a state that has moved up the ladder of education, come first 4 years in West African Examination Council, that has built 2 industries and employed over 10,000 people. These are there for everybody.
So what would you also say to those who have a very strong belief that you are leaving behind perhaps the state in the worst condition, and that they describe you as more of a failure in your 8 years?
This government is bequeathing the first long-term development plan to the new government, the first industrial policy. If they leave the realm of propaganda, history and posterity will be fair to us.
Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, thank you so much indeed for your time and your ability to be able to explain some of these issues. Thank you so much indeed for coming.
You're welcome, Shem.
Appreciate it.